So in the third unit, we are going to see in detail about Unix processes. So here is the given syllabus for the third unit. So in this, we are going to discuss about up to this command line arguments. Today we are going to discuss up to this. So first, the environment of a Unix process. So before that, we must know about what is meant by process, how the main function is invoked, then how the command line arguments are passed to the new program. So these are the things we must know. A process means that a program which is in execution is called a process. A program which is under execution is called process. And the process will be controlled by various primitive actions. Okay. So process control provided by the Unix system includes creation of a new process, program execution, and process termination. So a process has to be created by using a system call. I don't know whether you are familiar with the fork system call. Are you familiar with the fork system call? FORK? Have you studied in OS? Yes. Okay. So before moving to the process control primitives, we'll see about what is the task of while you are creating a process. So here, creation of a new process, then program execution, then process termination. So process control provided by the Unix system includes these are the things. Then how the process will be identified by using a unique number. So process will be having a number called process ID. It is a non-negative integer. It is identified as a unique number like your roll number, register number. Okay. So process nothing but program under execution is called a process. So we have to create a process, program has to be executed, then process has to be terminated, and the process identified by using a unique number called process ID. It is a non-negative integer. So Unix is a multi-processing OS, means that in parallel we can execute many processes. Okay, more than one program can run in parallel. That is the meaning. So Unix is a excuse me, multi-processing OS. So, but before getting into the details of a process control primitive, how the process will be controlled, how the process created, how it is terminated. So first we'll examine a single process. Okay. So here, what will be the environment of a process, how the command line arguments are passed, what will be the section of the process, how the main function is called. So these are the things we are going to discuss. So what is meant by the environment, how command line arguments are passed, what is the section of a process, how the main function is called. So first we'll start with main function. So already you are familiar with main function in C. The program execution always starts from main. So the program execution begins from main. So the prototype of main is int main, argument C, character star, argument V. So for the program, we can pass input within the program or outside the program. So if you are using scanf statement inside your program, it means that you are passing input within the program. If you are using command line arguments, then it means that for your program you are passing input from outside. That is the meaning. So here, if you are using argument C and character star argument V, means that we are passing input to the program through command line arguments. So here, argument C specifies the number of arguments. Argument V specifies what are the arguments you are passing. So that will be stored in this argument V array, that is in this array. See here, in Unix, you are executing /a.out instead of /p. Here it is a.out, means that this is an object file. It is a default object file. So when you are compiling, how we used to compile? cc space file name. For example, 1.c -o p. So this is the format which I taught, right? cc 1.c -o p. Then we'll execute /p, right? So if I am not specifying p, an object file is created, which is a default object file by the Unix a.out. Okay. So the default object file is created if I not specified p. Okay, so here this is nothing but the object file for some program. It is a default object file in Unix. So we are executing the program dot slash a dot out space Sara space 20. So as per this main, argument count is 3. So this is first argument, second argument, third argument. So argument v of 0 contains a dot out. Name is a dot out. If you are using p here, then p will be stored here, p. Okay. Then argument v of 1 contains Sara. Argument v of 2 contains 20. So this is an array. It is a string array. So we are storing strings in it. Then when you are executing the program by the kernel, so the kernel will execute exe function. Okay. So when you want to try to execute your main program by OS, the OS will call exe function for to execute your main program. So before that, before executing your main program, a startup routine is called before the main function is called by the kernel. So startup routine is first invoked, then only your main program will be invoked. So when you are trying to execute your program, kernel will call the startup routine. That will perform some actions like initialization that is required, and then only it calls the main function. Okay. The startup routine takes values from the kernel that includes command line arguments and environment variable. We'll see what is meant by environment variable later. So here the task of the startup routine is it will include the command line arguments and the environment variable. So it takes the value from the kernel. These values are taken from the kernel by the startup routine. Here is the pictorial representation. So when you want to execute your main program, the kernel executes exe system call, execute system call for to execute your program. So first kernel calls the startup routine. It will perform the initialization. So it will collect what are the command line arguments and environment variable for this program from the kernel. Then it invokes the main program. So from the main, the user defined function. So if you are using any sub function, it will be called and executed. Then finally, after executing, you will be returning to the main program. Then you will quit the program by executing the exit system call. So you may terminate your program from main or from the user defined function by executing exit system call. So exit system call will be handled by the exit handler. Okay. So I am telling again, when you are executing the program, the kernel calls the startup routine by executing exe system call. So the startup routine performs some initialization operation, means that it collects the command line arguments and the environment variables from the kernel for your program. Then it invokes the main program. From the main, if you use any user defined function, it will be invoked. It will be called from the main program. The user defined programs are executed, then control return back to the main, one option. Or else your program will be terminated from the subfunction itself by executing exit system call. Or else you can terminate your program from the main by executing exit system call. So the exit system call are handled by the exit handler. Okay. Then coming to the command line arguments. So I told you already, for the program, input may be passed in two ways. One is within the program by using scanf statement, and the other is from the outside of the program through command line arguments. So argument C is nothing but argument count, and argument V is nothing but it is a vector array that stores all the strings that what we are passing through command line arguments. Here is an example program. See here I am compiling cc filename.c. I have not specified an object file. I have not specified a -o p like that, anything. Simply I am performing cc space filename.c. So the name of the file is 5.2. So filename.c. See here, an object file is created with the name a.out. So it is a default name. So I'm using dot slash a dot out. Then I'm passing Bachelor of Engineering. So this is my command line argument. So for this program, here you are printing the value of argument C and argument B. So the number of command line argument is, first argument is this one, 1, 2, 3, 4. So totally 4 arguments. So it displays argument count is 4. Then what are the arguments? That will be displayed by this statement. So by using for statement till it reaches 4, from I equal to 0 to 4, I less than 4, you are printing argument V of I. So argument V of 0 contains A dot out. So argument V of 0 contains A dot out. Argument V of 1 contains bachelor. Argument V of 2 contains off. Argument V of 3 contains engineering. So we are printing what is the argument count and what is the argument vector contains. If you are clear up to this, type single S in the comment section. Okay, this is the pictorial representation. Argument V of 0 contains A dot out, 1 contains bachelor, 2 contains off, and 3 contains engineering. So this is how the command line arguments are stored in this array. Then process termination. So how a process can be terminated? So there are 8 ways for the process to terminate. There are 2 categories. One is the normal termination and another one is abnormal termination. So in normal termination, it is by using a return statement in the main program, then calling the exit function, calling this kind of exit function, then few more methods. For abnormal termination, you can call the abort method, terminated by a signal. So these are the subcategories of termination. So for normal termination, 5, and abnormal termination, 3 methods. So we are going to see the first 3. Return from main. So explicitly we are using a return statement in the main program. So this is one kind of normal termination, return 0. So 0 will be returned to the startup routine. So returning from main function is one way of terminating a program. Returning from main function using a return statement normally gets returned to the startup routine, which called the main function. So usually the main program invoked by the kernel through startup function. So if you are explicitly using a return statement here, this value will be returned to the startup routine. So this is one way of normal termination. And then by using exit functions. So 3 functions terminate a program normally. This one, underscore exit, underscore capital E exit, which return to the kernel immediately. So these 2 functions, underscore exit, will return to the kernel immediately without doing any operations. Immediately the control will be returned. Whereas if you are using this exit, it will perform some cleanup processing and then returns to the kernel. So it will clear the buffer, like that it will perform some operations before quitting the program. Then only it returns to the kernel. So you have to include the header file. For to make use of these things, you have to include standard library. And for this exit, you have to use unistandard.h. And the format is given here. Format of exit function is given here. And the status, 0 means success, 1 means failure. 0 indicates exit on success, 1 means exit on failure. So include the header file. So this header file is included for to make use of these functions, and standard library for this one. Here we are creating a file pointer. Then we are opening a file, myfile.txt, in read mode. Then we are checking whether it is successfully opened. If it is not, in that case you are displaying a message, error opening file. Then it is a failure case. It is a failure case. So here we are executing exit within bracket exit failure, means that you are passing value 1. So for failure value is 1. So for exit the status is 1. So it's a failure status that we are passing. So 1 will be returned to the startup routine. That is the meaning. Okay. So on failure, it is exit. Exit failure means 1 will be returned to the startup routine by the main program, as it is a failure case, as the file is not opened. Okay. So this is an example for exit. Here this is a program. Here we are executing the program by using GC compiler. So I'm compiling the program, namely 1.c. Then I'm executing ./a.out. As I don't have any error in this program is successfully executed. Okay. Now by using a command echo $?. So this is the command that displays the process status, whether it is successfully executed or not. So the process status we can get by executing this command in Unix. So here we have executed this program ./a.out. So we got hello world. So it is a successful execution. So we want to check how what will be the process status, whether it is successfully executed or not, by typing the command echo $? So this one will return the process status of the previously executed process. So just now we executed this process. So echo $? Will return 0 because it is successfully executed. That is the meaning. So this is the command that will print the exit status of a process. So the exit status of this process is it is successfully executed. So it returns 0. So here it returns 0. See here, for exit status, exit success 0. For failure it is 1. That is why you are getting output 0 here. So I am executing this program. Here it is successfully executed. Now I want to know the status of the process. So what will be the exit status of a process? As it is successfully executed, it returns the value 0. So that we will come to know through the command echo $? So this one $? will display the process exit status. And here is the example for failure. Suppose assume that this is my program. Here void is misspelled, spelling mistake. Okay. So when I am executing this program, it is error. Okay. Then I am typing the command echo $? What will be the status of this program? Exit status is 1. It is a failure case. If you take this one, here semicolon is missing. Again it is an error in this program when I am compiling it. What will be the exit status? It is 1 again because it is a failure case. So process status can be obtained by using this command. If you are clear up to this, type SS in the comment section. Okay. Then calling exit system call. So the exit function causes normal process termination. First point, this is for normal process termination. It performs a clean shutdown of standard IO library by calling fclose function for all open streams. So what are the file you have opened, and then buffering operation, clearing the buffer, then all the things are performed when you are invoking exit system call. So before terminating your program, before terminating your process, it will call the fclose function that closes all the open streams. So whatever file you have opened from your program, that will be closed with permission. Then only the process will terminate. Okay, in exit system call. Then the C standard specifies two constants: success for 0, failure for 1. that may be passed to exit to indicate the successful and unsuccessful termination respectively. So this is the format which we discussed earlier. See here, exit of 0. So in the main, I am executing this program. After printing this statement, it is exit of 0. So successful execution I am representing. So after execution, I will be getting the output. When the when the process executes this statement, the program will be terminated. So exit of 0 means it is a success case. So successfully the program is terminated. It is a normal program termination. Here, this is an example for failure. So this program flushes all buffers, closes any open files, and ends the program if it cannot open the file myfile. So in this program, we are trying to open a file, this one, in read mode. If you are not able to open the file, you are displaying an error message, and on exit, it is a failure case. On exit, you want to do all the cleanup operation. So for that, you are using exit system call. But we are specifying it is a failure case. So here one will be written as a status to the startup routine as the file is not opened. Okay, so this is another example for exit system call. This is for the failure case and this is for the success case. So here we are printing the statement successfully, then we are quitting the program in a normal termination mode with the successful operation. So it specifies 0 here. Whereas here we are trying to open a file in read mode. If this file is not exist, then in that case it is a failure case. So you are displaying the error message. After that you are exiting with the failure status. So on executing this exit statement, you are specifying do all the cleanup operation, then exit. That is the meaning. See here, this is an example for exit system call. We are printing start, then exit 0. Here you are having another printf statement. Whereas this printf statement will not be executed. When the program encounters the exit statement, the program will be terminated. That is the meaning. So here this statement will never executed. So you are executing this program. Only start will be printed. When the process enters exit system call, the process will be terminated without executing the remaining part of the program. So where you use exit system call, when the process encounters that statement, the program will be terminated there itself without executing the rest of the program. That is the meaning. So exit terminates the calling process without executing the rest code which after the exit function. So where you used exit, in that location the program will be terminated. The remaining part will never get executed. Okay. Are you clear up to this? Type single S in the comment section. Okay. Then calling underscore exit or underscore capital exit. So this one, these two functions are used when you want to return to the kernel immediately without doing any cleanup operation, without closing any files, open the files, without doing buffer cleaning operation. So immediately if you want to return control to the kernel, you can make use of these functions. So without doing any operation, immediately the program will be terminated. So the format is this one. So the exit function terminates the calling process immediately. Any open file descriptors belonging to the process are closed. So immediately it will return to the kernel. See here, this is exit, whereas this one underscore exit. So include the header files that are needed. So for that, to utilize this function, I have included unistandard.h. So here it is normal termination. So it is printing this statement, then it is a successful exit. So the program will be terminated, process will be terminated on success here. Whereas here it is a immediate termination, so the process will be terminated immediately without printing anything. So here we are executing this one. When the process encounters this statement, immediately it returns to the kernel without printing electrical engineering. Difference between exit and underscore exit. Actually, exit function performs some cleaning before termination, like connection termination, buffer flushes, etc. Whereas exit function, normal termination of a program without performing any cleanup task. So it does not execute functions registered at exit. So this one we'll see now what is meant by at exit. So here exit function performs the cleanup operation before terminating the program. The cleanup operations include connection termination, buffer flushes, etc. Whereas exit function won't perform any cleanup task. It is a normal termination, but without performing this task, it will be return the control to the kernel. Okay, it means that it does not execute the functions registered at exit. So now we are going to see about what is meant by at exit. It is one of the API at exit system call. So at the time of exit, what need to be done? That we can specify for the program. So the at exit function registers the given function to be called at normal process termination. So we are going to list some functions called at exit. So that will be invoked when you are exiting from the program. That is the meaning. Okay. So this is the format. We'll see the example so that you can understand. See here, void goodbye. This is one function. From the main, at exit. So this is the format. At exit, call this function goodbye. That is the name. Name of the function you have to specify without any parenthesis. At exit, when program is terminated, when the process terminated, that time you call this function. That is the meaning. So when you are executing this program, this is the statement we are registering the function goodbye to be called at the time of exit. Then you are printing starting main program, exiting main program. See the output, starting main program, exiting main program. Then it is a return statement. That is, the program is going to be terminated. So at the time of exit, this goodbye function is invoked. So the control goes here. This printf statement is executed so that you will be getting this output. So at the time of exit, what has to be done? That you can specify by using this system call at exit. At exit, this function need to be called. So after executing the statements that are present in the program, at the time of exit, this registered function is invoked. You can print the statement. That this statement is printed by executing this function. Okay. Now coming to the definition, at exit function registers the given function. So we are registering the function goodbye have to be called at the time of exit. At normal process termination, either via exit library function or via return from the program. So when you are executing the exit system call or a return statement, this function has to be invoked. So whatever function you have registered, at the time of exit it has to be invoked. That is the meaning. Functions so registered are called in reverse order of their registration. Suppose if you have registered more than one function, it will be called in the reverse order. So no argument are passed. Okay. So for this program, no argument are passed. Here we registered a single function. So at the time of exit, this function is called. Whereas if I register more than one function, see here, I am having two functions, namely 1 and 2, exit 1 and exit 2. Here in my program, I am registering at exit call 2, at exit call 1, at exit call 1. Then I am printing the statements. So when I am executing this program, I have registered three statements, at exit, at exit, at exit, to be called as 2, then 1, then 1. So first when I am executing this program, this statement will be printed. So first this statement will be printed. Main is done. Okay. As it is a if statement, these statements are comes under if. Okay. So it is a printf statement. So first main is done will be displayed. Then These are the registered function, so it will be called in the reverse. So first this exit function will be called exit 1. What will be the statement in exit 1? First exit handler, that will be displayed. Then next again we are calling exit 1. So first exit handler will be displayed. Then finally exit 2. Second exit handler, that will be displayed. So this is the order we registered. So in the reverse it will be called. Okay. So after executing main is done, here we have three exit handlers at exit. So it will be called in the reverse order. So first exit 1 called, again exit 1 called, then exit 2 called. So for that only you are getting output like this. Okay. Are you clear up to this? Type double S in the comment section. Have you received all the PPTs up to yesterday's topic? Type single S in the comment section. Okay. So go through the PPT. Tomorrow morning we'll assign you the next exercise, that is for the tutorial hour. We'll inform through Balamohan. Okay. Thank you. Take care. Bye.